Hi everyone, it's been a while and I thought I would just bring you along this little vlog of the first weekend in December because it's very frosty up here where I live. I didn't really leave the apartment for the whole weekend. In this video we'll see some very cozy decorating for winter as well as home-cooked meals, making apple compote and apple pie. I think I've also got some study time, changes for the winter season in it. I toned my hair a bit darker. Also, something for you guys to love it because I think it might get mixed up with the way that I talked about it. I woke up on Friday morning and I thought that I had a very regular sleep schedule for the first time in a long time. And then I took 5-hour afternoon nap, which I wouldn't call that a regular sleep schedule. But then I woke up on Saturday as the most recharged, energized person since I don't know when. So a shirt under a sweater. I just got some dark blue flared jeans on. And I've also got on some knee warmers because it's very cold outside and I'm still recovering from my cold. And yeah, regular leather shoes. My pearl necklace is always my ring. My sleep schedule today was actually really sort of normal. I went to bed shortly after midnight and then I woke up at 8 a.m. by myself, which is nice. Hi everyone, welcome back. I've come to realize that the lighting really isn't the best right now, but I still think it's going to hold up pretty nicely. I just put on one of the vlogs of Steph Bauer, which I love her, and it kind of motivated me to pick up the camera again. Honestly, the week hasn't been the best because I'm still sick and it kind of sucks now that it's December. And then I also realized that nothing about my apartment really screams Christmas, but still I wanted to make it a bit more winter themed. So I thought it might interest you guys to see the transitions in a space, especially because my apartment is very small. So please definitely let me know whether that's boring for you or not, because if it's boring for you, I'm going to edit it out the next time. I took a devastating nap today. I think I slept from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., which I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. So, let's at least be productive. I think this actually shows up a lot better on camera. I'm sure you've seen these pillows in some of my other videos, but I'm just going to store them underneath my bed because they're pink and I don't think that's particularly winter themed. Now I have this really cute Bambi themed, I think it's a chocolatey brown. I can't tell because the camera is a bit too dark right now, but it's got this floral pattern on it. But I only have one pillow in the proper size. I've got 3 towels here. I'll just sort of measure this out. Okay, so this actually works. Then I just used another pillowcase to add more volume to the sofa, which you can see in the back. And this does look really cute now. I've got this other one. Okay, now a small change of angles. This is, as you can tell, my bookshelf, which holds I think 70% of my books. I've also got another bookshelf in my closet area. But over here is my desk, and my desk setup right now is kind of chaotic. I mean, I like it in this room a lot more than in the other room. The thing that I've been struggling with is the fact that all this stuff that I work with for uni is in 2 boxes sitting on the ground, which I don't really like, but also it works, I guess. So I just cleaned up the desk area for now and I wanted to show you my calendar. This is my calendar that I've had this year and the year before that. I love the layout of this and I've shown you in my other video already. This print isn't available this year. I just got the simple, sleek, black version. I might put stickers on it to make it look pretty. And then what I also thought was quite cute is the weekly planning thing. Because for exam preparation and all that, you've got so much space to write out all the tasks that you have to do. And with exams coming up, I thought it would be very useful. Usually I just do it on my tablet and Google Calendar, but I think there's something about taking physical notes. What we're going to do now is, I thought we could make apple galettes or something akin to that, because I still got some cookie dough in the fridge, which I pulled out like 20 minutes ago to just warm up a bit, and some apples and lemons, and I thought this could be very cute. I wanted to show you the calendar for December because I think it's really cute and it sort of matches my outfit, so I hope you appreciate that artsy-esque collection. And I'm going to have a piece of toast before I start baking because I'm feeling exhausted already. When it comes to making apple pie, I see people struggling all the time with like knives when it comes to peeling the apples. Just use a regular vegetable peeler. And then if you don't want to cut all of the apples up, use one of those if you've got them. I got this for like €1 at Aldi. And then you just pierce through the apple. I used 4 apples because I also wanted some additional apple compote for the next few days. But if you were to just make one galette, I think an apple and maybe an apple and a half would be more than sufficient. So, take your time, peel everything as much as you can. I used a whole lemon. Well, I mean, if you were to only make one galette, like half a lemon with its fresh juice would be more than enough, but I'd argue use the fresh stuff, that's usually a bit better. And then I slice it very thinly. In my case, I added half the lemon juice to the apples, just so they don't go brown as quickly, and then set it to medium-high, which on my stovetop is a 6 out of 9. Add cinnamon. This is homemade vanilla sugar. I'm going to add half a tablespoon, because those apples are already very, very sweet. My apple compote is ready. You can see, for the washer, but the apples have softened. I rolled out the dough as thinly as possible, and then I just added enough of the apple compote to leave maybe an inch. Now we're going to use the apple peels as well with the remaining lemon juice. At this point, my cookie dough had started to warm up a bit. This goes in the oven for 10 minutes to get it up, and then it went into the oven for 15 minutes. And I blended together the apple peels into a different sort of compote. I prepared this sausage, gherkin, cheese sandwich situation. With this type of dough, you just always have to let it cool down. I'm just sitting down, I ate my sandwich and all that. I've got my apple galette on here. I think I'm just going to sort out some things in my calendar because honestly there's so much planning involved nowadays in my life. And so just so you can see the texture of the apple compote galette situation. I just woke up from what is probably the most restful or energizing sleep I've had in a few months, so I'm very excited about that. And for breakfast we're going to make my oatmeal as always, but then I also boiled some eggs yesterday, so I thought it would be quite cute for you to watch me doing my everyday morning routine. Usually I just film my breakfast for you, but I thought now that it's the weekend I have a bit more time to set up the camera, and maybe it's going to inspire you to also bring more whimsy into your everyday routines. On weekends, I enjoy using a multitude of dishes because I know that I'm going to have time to enjoy each and every one of them. My first and go-to step is brewing my peppermint tea that I always drink. It's just such a quiet habit for me. And then it's time to make my breakfast porridge, which those are some blended linseeds, chia seeds, oats. And then shortly after, I added some hot water in there just to, get it to boil a bit quicker. Condensed milk is what I use when I make porridge because I don't really like the taste of warm yogurt. But that's a thing for you to decide. And then some of the apple compote that I made yesterday, which I think it looks really, really nice. It colored the porridge a very blushed pink, cinnamon, vanilla sugar. Then that goes into my porridge breakfast bowl. For extra vitamins and so on, I'm adding a bit of banana on top of the part. It just also looks really pretty. And then the rest of the banana goes onto my little cake plate that I'm also going to place the eggs on in a minute or so. I much prefer soft-boiled eggs around breakfast time, though I'm not opposed to scrambled eggs, but I had already prepared those. And then I added some salt and sesame seeds. And I think the sesame seeds really add such a pretty to look at touch on that. And, a fork, a spoon, and then some sliced up almonds to make the porridge and the plate look extra pretty. Editing me here, I'm sorry for having to mute this, but I had some copyrighted music on in the background whilst I was just reviewing some notes from uni, which I tried to show you like this. And, I like eating my breakfast by my desk. It keeps me motivated for the day. Aside from the contents of my fridge, I got white beans, then fresh thyme, lentils, and then peanuts. I think that fridges are utterly fascinating, so I thought I'd give you like little fridge tour of all the types of sauces and jams and syrups and whatever that I use to cook and to bake. And I've got eggs always up there. I always have a bottle of wine in here, just in case friends come over and, needs to be chilled if it's white wine, at least for my personal taste. Then I usually keep like dairy up here. If I meal prep, everything goes in here. I'm cleaning this thing out right now because usually like my veggies would be in these two. Then anything that's opened, now I have like all the fresh stuff, so cabbage, spring onions, carrots, mushrooms. Then in here are yellow and what do you call it, like striped beetroots to make a salad with. I peeled and shredded all of the carrots except for like the remnants of them, so this is going to go into my cabbage soup. This is my lentil rice combination. I added some rice vinegar and then also some salt to it, and I always boil my rice alongside a bay leaf to that as well. Then I've got my mushrooms with a spring onion in like a creamy sauce. Usually I would add some flour to the sauce to thicken it, but I have a ton of lentil rice, so that's not needed. Recently I've liked to bring more warm-toned light into my evening routine, which is why you can see the candlestick in the back. And I also just really loved how it looked on camera. I think the most of the still very, very hot dinner and then the flame colors blending together was really such a wonderful winter Christmassy atmosphere. And then something that I didn't account for was that I needed the sauce from the mushrooms as well, which I can't pick up with that spoon, so that's why I plated it like this. And I think I ate from like the mushroom and lentil stir fry for 2 or 3 more days. It was so delicious. Hi there, so editing me here again. I just realized that I need to take my cardigan to the tailor, so I saw that hole in the sleeve. I didn't beforehand. I know it sounds stupid, but I don't want to put box dye on it because I like the way that the highlights look. And so I got a hair gloss, which is, I've never used this one before, but it's like a dark brown hair gloss, supposedly. And I just want a bit more contrast between my face and my hair again, because with winter and with me putting on a lot of bright pink blush, a darker hair would really suit that. So I just blow dried my hair 80% or so, and I think the toner did its job quite nicely. When I put it on, I was scared for a minute. I thought it was going to be way too red and way too dark, but I think it really helped that I also shampooed my hair in the shower and not just wash everything out, because now I'd say I'm fully brunette again. I feel very much like my winter self again. I started my Sunday morning with making Kaiserschmarrn, which is a traditional Austrian pancake that uses foamed egg whites that you can see me make in my cocktail mixing thing. And then I used some condensed milk. because I ran out of, well, regular whole milk. So to kind of fix that issue, I added some more water. Then you're using a pan with a little bit of butter in there, set it to medium low. For me, that's 4 out of 9. Wait until all the butter has melted. Then you carefully whisk together the egg whites with the remaining like flour, sugar, milk mixture to keep the dough as aerated as possible. And you can really see that I'm moving the egg whites as little as possible. And once you filled into the pan, you can still see some of those egg white pieces, which is perfect, in my opinion at least. Once you get the dough into the pan, you're going to leave it and cover it. So it's been about 3 minutes, and I've prepared some cinnamon sugar, so we're gonna look inside here. But I don't think it's really ready yet, is it? So after the 3 to 5 minutes, you kind of pull apart the different pieces of the Kaiserschmarrn. I sliced up a banana, and you can see me place the different bites on it, and I really, really love that. I can highly recommend it to you because it's, I think, in my opinion, easier to make than like proper American pancakes. You have to be a lot more careful of their shape. Then I used the apple compote because I find that apples go perfectly with any sort of pancake. And I had that in the fridge, freshly made, and it's so delicious. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I think I'm going to edit a bit more the next week. I always tell myself that, and then I think I'm disappointing you guys quite a lot of the time. But honestly, I think now that it's dark, like 4 p.m. outside, I can really find the time to edit.